welcome to Baking with the Barbers, Holy Week edition. We're going to make resurrection cookies that are a really yummy treat, and they also tie in the story of Jesus' resurrection. And the things that you'll need for this are sugar, vinegar, salt, egg whites, well eggs, you use the egg whites, and chocolate chips. And then you need a baking sheet, parchment paper, measuring cups, and a wooden spoon and a bag. The first thing you want to do is set your oven to 300 degrees, and the instructions for this are all on the St. David's website, so you don't have to follow along with us. If you want to follow along with the recipe, it's written out on the St. David's website. But the first thing we're going to do is preheat the oven to 300 degrees. And because we have varying ages of kids, we're going to have our youngest do the part that is pushing buttons. So we're going to go into the kitchen, and I'll meet you in there.
And look at me.
Alright, the first thing we're going to do is a cup of chocolate chips into a plastic bag. And the recipe on the website says pecans, but we're going to do chocolate chips just because we like them more. But you could do either. So we're each going to measure a 1/4 cup. You need a cup total. Can you open the bag for me? We're not going to use that. We're just going to pour some in. So, like I said, it doesn't need to be perfect. Why don't you take one from this bag? And then what we're going to do is we're going to shut the bag, and we're going to use the wooden spoon to break up the chocolate chips. We're going to beat them the way that they beat Jesus before they put him on the cross, because these are resurrection cookies. And before Jesus went on the cross and died for all of us, he was beaten. And so we're going to do this to remind ourselves of that.
Jace wants some.
Jace wants some? Okay. So we're going to take this, we're going to hit it. We're going to each take a few turns hitting it and breaking it up. Right, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a teaspoon of vinegar. Jesus was given vinegar on the cross when he was up there. I can't open this. Can you open this one? Thank you.
We're going to open the chocolate chips.
Not yet. Taste this. Smell it. Doesn't smell so good, does it? No, don't drink it. Smell it.
Ew. I actually like this one.
Okay. We need a teaspoon of this. Will you
So
pour the teaspoon and put it in the bowl?
Can I do that? They did that because I didn't
Dad's
want
going to do this part.
to smell something good. Oh.
Ready? Will you
Ready? Let's not do that. That's for the
sugar later.
For the sugar.
All right, let's get rid of that.
Do you need the teaspoon anymore?
Nope. And then what we're going to do next, Jace is going to do this part. So he's going to get our egg whites. So we need 3 egg whites. And we actually are going to have you girls step aside so that Jace can do it. Go ahead and put it back. Go ahead and put it back. I know you know how to crack eggs, but cracking eggs, back up. Cracking eggs and separating them are 2 different things. So Jace has some practice with this. So he's going to crack it. You want to crack it in the middle. Remember, we're going to do it over the bowl.
Ew.
And you put the egg whites in one, and the yolks in another, and then your eggshells that we're going to compost in another. That's good, bud.
You got it.
That's good. It doesn't have to be perfect. Although it does need to be totally yolk-free. So I say it doesn't need to be perfect, but you do want to make sure that you don't have any yolks.
I can't do eggs.
You can't do the eggs, Mila?
I can't.
All right. We now have our egg whites, and eggs represent life. So this is about Jesus' life. But when they put him on the cross and took away his life, his followers, the people who loved him, they cried. And this little bit of salt is about their tears. So tears are very salty. So we're each going to sprinkle the smallest little bit, only a little bit of salt. There were a lot of tears, but we only want a little bit of salt. bit, each of you. Small little bit.
A little pinch.
Again, lots of tears at the resurrection, but only a
Perfect
little bit of
amount.
salt to represent them.
Perfect.
And what we're going to do now, what we're going to do now is we are going to whip the egg whites. Can you tilt this bowl for me, Ella? Tilt it towards the camera. We started to beat our egg whites, but before we keep going, we need to add some sugar to this recipe because without it, they wouldn't taste very good. They wouldn't be very sweet. And so Jesus is like sugar. He adds sweetness to our lives. And so we're going to do 1 cup of sugar, and Jace is going to measure this for us. Gotta really push down, okay? Awesome. Good. Now go ahead and put it in that clear bowl. Just dump it. And then we're going to add about a tablespoon at a time, or just a big spoonful at a time, as we whip the egg whites. And we're going to add little bits of sweetness in as we go. So go ahead and Jace, you do the egg whites. You can see as you beat them, they start to look different. They get white and glossy. You want to keep doing that until you form stiff peaks. What are you doing, Ella?
Covering her ears so she can hear the noise and she's trying to sleep.
So if the younger ones don't like all that noise, maybe we could cover their ears. As you can see, it gets a little bit hectic during the cookie making. I imagine it was very hectic during the resurrection as well. And now we have our stiff peaks. And we can see how white this all is. And this white represents those whose sins have been purified by Jesus. So that's all of us. What we're going to do now is we're going to fold in the chocolate chips. So go ahead and dump the chocolate chips in.
I want to do it.
Yes.
Everybody wants to do it. We all get to be a part of Jesus' story.
Here, Ryan.
So go ahead and just dump the bag in.
Here.
We can just dump the bag.
Okay. Here.
We don't all need to touch it. We just dump the bag in.
Cool.
Okay, so a good technical fold is an up, down, and over motion. Nice and gentle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a little blob of the meringue in each corner of this cookie sheet. All right, so Josh has put a little blob in each corner so that it will stick when he puts the parchment paper down. So go ahead, do it the other side so that the rolled part sort of lays flat. Good. The recipe on the website doesn't say to do this step, but it's definitely an important step because you want your parchment paper to stay flat. And because it comes on a roll, it usually doesn't stay flat unless it's a little sticky. So use that meringue to do that. And then each cookie that we make, we're going to drop by a spoonful each. So go ahead. We're each going to get a turn. Josh is going to do it first. Dad's going to do it first. Sure, we want them to be about equal size. And each of these cookies represents the tomb that we laid Jesus in.
I want more.
What's the spacing?
3 across by 4. Dad's going to do the first 4 so that we can have a row.
One more for you and then it's my turn.
Sure, we can all take turns.
My turn.
Yep. Dad will turn the tray so it's easier for you. And he'll also hold the bowl for you. You'll each get to do 2, yep. This is what our cookie tray looks like. It is far from perfect, but that's just like us. We are far from perfect. And we're going to put these in the oven We have a gas oven, so we're going to put them in for 10 to 15 minutes. And then guess what, guys? We're going to close the oven and turn it off, and we don't get to eat these cookies today.
We're gonna have chocolate chip.
So we're going to have chocolate chips, but we're not going to get these cookies until tomorrow. So let's go put them in the oven. Now we're going to put the cookies in the oven. So stand to the side when you open it so the heat doesn't hit you in the face. Stand back, Rennie. We're going to pull the rack halfway out. You want it placed in the center. And then we're going to close it. And we're going to seal the oven, just like they sealed Jesus' tomb. And so each child has a piece of tape. And they're going to put it across the top of the oven.
I can see the stuff.
You can see the stuff. So we have sealed the oven just like they sealed Jesus' tomb. And we're going to have to wait overnight. They had to wait 3 days for Jesus to rise from the dead, but we only have to wait overnight. Are you excited in the morning for cookies?
Yay!
So these are what the cookies look like now. And then let's break them open. Can you break open one? Or two? What is it like on the inside? It's kind of hollow on the inside, isn't it? A little bit hollow?
Yeah.
Like Jesus' tomb. Girls, what do they taste like?
Yummy!
Jace, what do they taste like?
They're good. I'm just saving mine for later.
Okay.
Because I don't want early in the morning.
Yeah, cookies for breakfast is a little weird, but sometimes we splurge. What do we say to everybody? Happy Easter?
Happy Easter!
Easter!